Hey, this is Charlotte.
And I'm Daryl.
And we are the Bakers, known as Team Baker. Yes. And so today we are excited because we have just started a reload of Truth for Daily Living.
Yes.
And we're going to be interviewing several different people from different walks of life that have something to share that we think will be important for our audience, whether you're individual, meaning not married, or if you are married. You know, our heart is to help those who are married, but these topics are going to go across the board. So let's give you an idea. Let's see. This is who we're going to be having, Mr. Paul Zolman. He's waiting patiently for us. So as soon as we come back, we're going to bring him on. All right. Again, this is Daryl and Charlotte Baker with Truth for Daily Living. All right, he's here. Mr. Paul, he is here. And he's ready to go, I promise you. He is ready. So we're so grateful for Paul being on our Reloaded Truth for Daily Living show. And so we just want to really start off by asking, who are you, Mr. Paul Zolman?
Thank you, Charlotte and Daryl. I appreciate this opportunity. I've been in the financial industry for most of my life. And at one point in time, I was a CFO of a public company. And in that accounting work that I've done, I've just tried to have a sense of feeling for people and their relationships, as well as for the numbers. A lot of people that work in the back room, you think they have a green visor and that sort of thing. They have no social skills at all. I didn't want to be that kind of green visor type of financial assistant, type of accountant or anything like that. So I tried to develop the personality a little bit, and I was grateful for my upbringing, even though it was a very adverse upbringing. I was in a home that was abusive, and you learn either what to do right the first time, or you learn what to do wrong or what not to do the first time around. So that was my learning path, is to learn what not to do. That's how I grew up. And yet, even at that, for many, many years, I blamed my father for anything that went wrong in my life or anything that went wrong within my relationships. And I was probably about age 35 when I realized that, you know what? I'm responsible. I'm responsible for my own life. I'm responsible for what happens in my life. And at that point in time, it was almost like an epiphany. It should have been an epiphany a lot sooner. My father had been dead 7 years by the time I came to the realization, stop blaming him. He's not even here.
Wow.
He can't even defend himself. He's not even here. So I thought, you know what? If I could blame somebody for my problems, I don't have to change. I don't have to do one darn thing about it. And so I was riding on the coattails of that and not having to do anything to change my upbringing. In that upbringing, I learned the vocabulary of abuse. I learned all those naughty things to do that are on the naughty end of the stick. So decided that what brought this to a head was that I was dating a girl after my first divorce. I've been divorced twice. After my first divorce and 8 children, I was dating someone that it was time to take her up for Big Brother approval. And the Big Brother approval was 300 miles north, and so we drove up there. And the first thing that happened when we walked in the door is that my sister-in-law pulled her aside within earshot and said, the only emotion that the Zolman family learned growing up is anger. At first I denied it, then it made me mad.
So when you heard that, did you start reflecting and thinking, well, maybe that's true, or what happened?
In the type of upbringing I had, Charlotte, there's no reflecting. You just spout off what you feel, and you do it immediately. There was no thinking about it.
Okay. So it wasn't like a shock to you. You just like, well, that's the way it is. I mean, how did you respond?
No. So, like I say, it's reactionary.
Yeah.
It's just whatever emotion comes up, that's what you spit out, and it's just it's no thought process really behind it.
That's like muscle memory, right? It automatically, takes place. No thought process, because that's been a norm for you.
Right.
So, gotcha.
Yeah, but I mean, in reference to her bringing that to your attention, it wasn't shocking?
Well, it was shocking, and when you're shocked and surprised like that, you're always going to deny it, and you're always, especially if it's bad, you're always going to deny it.
Right.
And then you're going to try to deflect by becoming angry. And so that's the flash.
Yes.
That is what happened, is just that flash. And so becoming angry actually was really kind of a good thing.
How was that?
Yeah. In what sense? What do you mean by that?
I was angry mostly at the realization that she was right. And the fact of that pushed me in a direction that I really needed to go, and thought I'd gone there, but I hadn't really arrived there. So I started reading books like The Color Code and The 5 Languages of Love by Dr. Gary Chapman, and read them several times. I remember reading The 5 Languages of Love probably 4 or 5 times. I didn't get it. You mean, Dr. Chapman, you mean I'm supposed to guess what your other people's love language is and cater to it? Really? Dr. Chapman, I grew up in an abusive home, and I know that wasn't love.
Right.
But catering to somebody just because they tell you that's what they like?
Yes.
That sounds like more manipulation, and that's not love to me. Oh, well, then take this survey, and then after you take the survey, you'll find out what love language I am. Yeah, what you're supposed to be. And then what?
And then what? Good question. Good question.
Hello, I'm gifts. What do you have for me today? I mean, it's so awkward. Well, how are you supposed to advertise that? How are you supposed to tell that without shaming or guilting someone into loving you? It becomes more duty-bound at that point. And I'm sure it's unintentional pity parties that Dr. Chapman made that happen. Well, I told you how I like to be loved. Why aren't you doing it?
Right.
And it's just that type of, it's frustrating at the best.
Yes.
So I love the principles of the 5 love languages, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they're great.
I love how they reconcile, as Dr. Chapman indicated, how they reconcile to what Jesus Christ did. I'm a believer, and I love following what Jesus Christ did. When I realized that and did that reconciliation for myself, I found out that these principles are golden.
Okay.
The principles were great, but I needed a different application for myself.
Sure.
I remembered that I liked games when I was a kid, and I thought, maybe I can make it a game. So I contacted Dr. Chapman, sent him an email, and his lawyer sent one back and said, I asked if they're licensing the icons right now for the different symbols for the love languages. They said no. And I was thankfully grateful that they said no, because the icons were from early 1990s. The book was first published in 1992. So it was just older icons. I went to an attorney that is a intellectual property attorney. He said that principles or theory is not copyrightable.
So because of that, I want to pause for a minute because I want the audience to stay with us. So because of this journey you were on, you began to create a product that you're describing now. And can you tell us the name of that product, what you created?
actually I called it the Roll of Love. It's a game that I created, and it's a dice that I was able to create because this attorney said that theory is not copyrightable, but application is. So the application of the love languages that I made was a game, and it's a game that everybody wins. It's not like those participation trophies, though. It's not like that type of game. It's a game that really the giver wins and the receiver win. Both people win. It's all about giving love. And so there's just two instructions. You roll the die every day. Whatever comes up is the love language you practice all day that day. The next day you roll it, it might be a little bit different. Beautiful.
Yes. So this is the die. And we thought it was so unique. Like we said, we know the concepts are, from another process or another program, but this we have never seen because this is the only one of its kind. And so tell us, or tell our audience, what you do with this exactly.
So the die that you see here, each side has an icon of love. So you can see time there, service. Those are the words. There's touch. And then there's gifts.
Yes.
So 5 love languages, 6 sides on the dice. This one is surprise me. So on that day, you're looking for opportunity to surprise someone with kindness or love. And it's just any opportunity that you see. So the mindset, Charlotte and Daryl, is that you're watching for opportunities to love all day long to everyone. Dr. Chapman would suggest that you just do it to significant others, and that's great for a marriage, but you're not with that person all day long.
Right.
So really that becomes a part-time job, part-time love. This isn't like that. This is full-time, 24/7, 365 a year, no vacations, there's no retirement. This is a mindset to love, and it's not that you can't have any vacations, but it's developing a mindset of love that it will energize you, it will bring you better health, it will bring you peace in your own life. It's just a better way to live your life.
So how does that sharpen? Not to interrupt you. How does that sharpen a person's ability to love others? What do you think it really is causing people to do when they roll that?
I think Dr. Chapman has it right that most people will give away their love language because that they're thinking reciprocation, that's what they want coming back. But this is different. You're giving away all the love languages over a 30-day period. You'll have given away all 5 love languages. When you give it away, it improves your vision to be able to see it when it comes your way. And that's how it will improve any relationship that you're in. So a lot of couples struggle with this, Charlotte and Daryl, and you know this. They struggle with seeing each other's love language. So what this does over a 30-day period is that you're doing the observation, the role of observation is what I call it. You're watching for those times where people light up. When they light up, you don't have to give them a survey to say, what's your love language? When they light up, that's what they like.
That's good. Right. That's good.
And that's how you take a mental note of that and wash, rinse, repeat. Do it again. Do it over and over. That's what they like. Okay. And then you just keep watching for opportunities all day long. So if you're doing service all day long, you're doing it to everybody you come in contact with, or you're watching for opportunities to do service all day long.
So it's unconditional, and then it's unselfish love as well, because you're not necessarily expecting anything in return, but you're just demonstrating the love, and then you want to make sure that you're expressing that, and also that you're able to make some type of connection as well.
Absolutely. So you're absolutely right, Daryl. There is no expectation coming back because you don't know when it'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
Let me distinguish that even a little bit more here. If you invest in anger and send anger out, guess what the return on investment is?
Anger.
Yeah.
Immediately.
It comes right back. And is that what you want? I don't think so.
Right.
So you put this love into a piggy bank. You send it out, you send it out, you send it out, send it out, and trust that it's going to come back. It will. It absolutely will.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't have your pity party and say, why aren't you doing it? You can't do anything like that. You can't have that little whiny voice. You can't.
So you definitely have to be intentional, because you're doing it every day. So with being intentional, how has this helped your family, your wife, your relationship? What benefits have you gained from using this die every day?
I think my wife has really liked guessing. I don't roll with her. I just roll it on my own. Mm-hmm. So I think she likes guessing what I may have rolled that day, because I'm focusing on something, always focusing on something. And I think she likes the mystique of being able to guess. And I think you need to have that little spice in your marriage too. In any relationship, you want that little mystique. That what's he doing today? What is his theme of the day, as you've talked about before?
Yeah, that's good.
What is the style of love he's practicing? Fun for us.
Now, do you have a book or something in connection with the die?
Charlotte, thank you for asking. I do. I actually published a book that just became an international bestseller within the last 2 months. And
wow, that's amazing.
That's great.
So, yeah, thank you very much. It's also called The Roll of Love.
And we have it here, so we would just kind of prep it. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, we have it. Yes. Awesome. Yes, probably better on your end. Yes.
Okay.
Wow. So an international bestseller. Wow.
So in addition to that, there's a journal, and this is really important for people that are journal writers. There's a journal that goes along with this, so you can record what you rolled that day, what opportunities you saw to love in that way that day, and then what you did about those opportunities. You might want to think about this in a classroom situation, in the school. I know that 4-year-olds can understand everything that's on this die. They can understand it. It's all it is pictures.
That's true.
Even if they're 4 years old and they can't read, they can understand what a picture means.
Right.
And so with a little education of what's that picture mean, they can understand what they need to start practicing that day. So from 4-year-old or 6-year-old or whatever, they roll the die in the school at the beginning of the day with their classmates or individually. It would probably be a lot faster if they did it all together as a class. We're focusing class today on this love language. So if they did it as a class, it takes 2 seconds to roll the die. At the end of the day, when it's the last 10 to 15 minutes of the day, normally I'm guessing it's mostly non-productive. Just non-productive because the kids are antsy, they've been there all day, they know the bell's coming, and they're just it's not productive. I've got a page of the journal that teacher could pass out at the end of the day. I want you children to tell me what you saw for opportunities to love in that way that we rolled this morning, and then what you did about those opportunities. So it brings the responsibility to the children for loving. I think that's going to tamp down a lot of the violence, a lot of misbehaving, because if they grasp the principle, they're always watching, they got the mindset, what's right with that person, what can I love about that person? They develop that mindset, they're never going to go down that road that says, what's wrong with that person?
Yeah.
And then start being critical and judgmental, and they'll never go down that road. Let's develop that mindset of love in the children, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, so that really goes back to what we were saying about from 0 to 99, because if schools could understand, I mean, you're going to have to, get your script, your elevator speech together, as they will, to talk to the different board members about that. But I think it will be an effective thing, considering we've both been in the public school system. So definitely help is needed. So I'm hopeful that you will get the opportunity to present that to the right, decision makers to even consider, because it's really something small, because it's exactly what you say. At the end of the day, kids are like, I'm ready to go, and we did do little games and things like that, but it couldn't be anything extensive because you're waiting for buses and car rides and things like that. So I think that's why it's a great product, because it's not, although our focus is marriage, oh my goodness, couples can definitely use it, but anyone, especially like you've described, if you've experienced trauma from childhood. So many people, as we've counseled, have experienced trauma, right? And we've created, different things to try to help people to, first of all, accept that, things happen, but now it's time to find ways, tools like this one, to get beyond that. And that's helpful. I mean, you can, of course, go, counseling, like we do counseling and things like that, but tools sometimes are very helpful in helping people to decipher. And you need simple concepts, because sometimes people with trauma don't even realize they have trauma. That childhood situation, we've counseled a lot of couples in situations where they thought they didn't know why they were angry or upset. And then once we get into it, they discover, oh my goodness, this stems from ... And my husband, I know he can probably attest to that about anger, because I know you can't tell now. He used to be, even before me, he says, a very angry person. So you can, speak to that piece about, anger.
Oh, absolutely. Anger and resentment, basically, they work hand in hand, right? And so you really have to take some deep introspection to really take an assessment of how you were behaving and how you were responding and how you were, had these triggers in your life. And I had a lot of those triggers in my life as well. And so anger is a repressed emotion that sometimes it does not necessarily get activated into words, basically, are being released, and then it hits on a point that you have was unwilling to deal with, and then you see the hawk comes out, right? So now the hawk, basically, he came alive, and now he just want to just tear up things and then go through those emotions, and then when it's all over, when it's all over, you say, oh my God, what have I said? What did I do? How am I constantly being in this perpetual cycle of destruction, right?
Yes.
And so it's amazing, and also that you're able to come to the realization, and then you had to deal with the man in the mirror, right? And then you had to make a change. And then making a change with the man in the mirror is not necessarily the most easiest thing to deal with, and now you have to deal with an ugly truth that you've been denying yourself to deal with, right?
Yes.
And so now something drastic had to take place within you, to make you, to give you the ability to see you for who you were at that precise moment in time. And now what are you going to do? You want to continue to be destructive? Or are you going to decide on how to be progressive and then become a better man, a better person, a better father, a better husband, and a better person, as well? So all of those things basically incorporate you really defining who you are. So you had to tap into the man on the inside and wake him up, okay? Wake him up to a truth, right? That you have not necessarily been accustomed to. But now you come to this crossroad. Now, what am I going to do, right? And so it's really amazing that you really come to that conclusion. Even, dealing with all of the abuse of your history, you haven't really touched on, but we understand the history of some elements of the history, that you had a lot of trauma, there was a lot of abuse, there was a lot of neglect that you had to deal with as a child. But a lot of people don't really transition from that place of hurt, to come to a healthy place such as yourself. So So
I agree, Daryl. I think that it's really important for your listeners to know, though, too, that even after you make the decision, how do you do it? If you make that decision, what's the plan? And I think that for me, it was just try, and then you fail, and then you try, and then you fail. And this is different. This is absolutely different. It became so simple, so absolutely simple. Roll the die, watch for those opportunities all day long. It just crowded everything out. Any try. No, I'm not trying. I'm just going to love. That's my mantra. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to do it. I'm going to love. And it crowded everything out. So I didn't even think of what's wrong with that person. Never had any critical thoughts at all. And because I'm saying what's right with them. I'm always looking for what's right. Everybody has faults. Why focus on them? You know what I like to do is that I think of a magnifying glass here. It's going to make me larger. Look how big that eye is. So magnifying glass is a great example of what you want to grow bigger. You want the bad things in life to grow bigger? No. Don't do it. You want those good things in life to grow bigger. You want to magnify them until they'll fill your life.
Yeah.
You'll always see the good side of people. Like I said, everybody has good, everybody has bad. Focus on that good, magnify that. You want that to grow in that person.
Right.
And that's going to come back to you.
And that comes through practice. That comes through practice as well, right? Yes. Because think about this for me. Say that again?
It does come through practice, but it's easy. It's easy. All you have to do is just give it away. Give it away, give it away, give it away. And that's just that easy.
Now, what would you say to someone that, doing this for the very first time, and it seems awkward, and I'm not necessarily used to saying I love you or I care about you or doing good things. I'm not used to that, so I feel uncomfortable. So what would you say to someone how to make that transition and make it, relevant as well?
Well, I think the journal helps a lot. If there's some accountability there, Daryl, for what you're doing every day, and you're going through these 5 love languages, maybe you like physical touch and that's all you like. I had an attorney that said, can you make me a dice that just has this icon on it? Just that one. Put it all on 6 sides, because that's all he wanted. And that's all he wanted to give, and that's all he wanted to receive. That's it. He wanted the dice like that. And it was just funny that he asked for like something that. But that's the key. You're learning all 5 love languages. You're going to become what I like to call a love language linguist.
I like that. Yeah.
Sexy title. You want to put it on your resume, Daryl?
Yeah, yeah. Let's put that on.
I'm going to borrow that, okay? I appreciate that.
Love language. Linguist.
So you're moving toward that becoming that love language linguist where you know all 5 love languages to give it away.
Yes.
And by doing that, you are going to be in those out of the box comfort zone. You're going to be out of that comfort zone of your normal activities of giving it away. But think of the benefit. You're going to be able to see it when it comes your way. You're going to get that sexy title, love language linguist. You want that. Okay. And you're going to be able to have a whole lot better relationships because it's just going to be a better life. You're going to find out what people like. If you just only give out what you like, it's going to be so hit and miss that you'll not find out what other people like.
Right. So are you planning to, sorry to interrupt there, I'm sorry. Are you planning to showcase this in a workshop setting or a webinar? What are your goals to get it out to the masses?
Absolutely. Eventually I'll get to that point. I'm developing some other things right now. I've got an app that I'm working on that so people can just hit the button on the phone and it'll roll the die for you.
Wow,
Oh, that's good.
That's cool.
And so and then it'll bring up maybe a scripture, maybe a quote from a famous person about that particular genre for the day, and then it'll bring up maybe 4 or 5 suggestions of what to do on that day. So that's the project right now. I will eventually get to working in workshops and try to role play, try to see if people can detect what love language is that they're practicing. What would you give to that person because they lit up? And it's really going to be so easy to see it. And that's what I think. If people, Daryl, to answer your question again, if those people feel uncomfortable, just have them be reminded that they're trying to get to the point where they understand how to give it all away. It's not about them. They need to really understand that it's never about them. It's all about the other person.
Right.
Always about the other person.
Yes.
And it's about making that other person happy, or uplifting that other person, or helping that person on their way.
Yeah.
And by doing that, that's where the joy is.
Yes.
It's not a job. It's not a part-time job of loving. It's a full-time joy that you're gonna just change that last letter, J-O, from J-O-B to J-O-Y.
That's
Yeah,
good.
right. Yes, right. Yeah, let me ask you this question, Paul, as well. So how difficult was it for you to learn to love yourself? Because you have to first love yourself before you're able to learn how to love others. Okay, so being, having the background that you had and all of the abuse, I'm sure you struggle with, maybe some type of self hatred or whatever the case may be. So how did you learn to love yourself, or was that an issue for you?
It's a really good question, Daryl, and I'm going to answer it this way. Early on, I came to the conclusion that that I wasn't better than everybody else, and I wasn't even as good as most people. So there's a level, it's kind of a vertical level, that I'm not up here, I'm not all the way down here, and I'm maybe somewhere in the middle there. And so what I would do is I'd try to find someone that I felt like they were worse off than I was, and try to help them feel better about themselves. And by doing that, I actually felt better about myself. By serving, by doing something for someone else to lift them up, it helped me feel better about myself. I know that's hard, especially if you're in the funk right now. And if you're kind of in that thick soup, it's hard to even go out. It's hard for me to go out right now in 116 degree weather.
Wow, that's hard for me to even
imagine.
Wow,
that's like desert weather,
Yeah, we thought it was hot here in Georgia, but that's
I'm just 2 hours north of Las Vegas, so it is a desert. And so it is a desert. But you want to stay in your comfort zone. You absolutely want to stay in that comfort zone. You've got to break out. If you're going to really make this change, you've got to determine that you've got to get out of that comfort zone. And whatever it takes, find someone that you can help. They're out there. It's so easy.
It is.
Yes.
It's so many people, especially, in this post Rona, I would say, situation, that because they were so isolated. And I think about even the people, as we wrap this up, that were in abusive situations already. And then during Rona, it became, I'm sure, worse. And so they had all this pent up emotion and no one to really love them. And so that would be the difficult thing too, because with this die, it has to be two people that agree to do this. So
Not necessarily.
well, I'm talking about like an abusive situation. If it's abuse, I'm talking about physical abuse.
Right.
The other person's not going to be, in most cases, even interested in that because they're about being, domineering and controlling. But you were going to say, at least if they consider it, or what were you going to say about that?
So I was single when I was just going to say that I was single when I created this.
Okay.
And so there was no other significant other in my life at the time. So it was easier that way, that it wasn't as complicated to try to teach someone else to use it. And if they don't want to use it, they don't want to use it. And you really can't force that, because you're back to that abuse part of the situation, that you're controlling someone, you're putting you got your thumb down on them. That's not going to work.
No.
If people really are reasonable and they want their situation to change, this is a great encouragement for them.
Great. Yeah, this is, wow. So this is definitely, like I said, we like using tools, and then, with Truth for Daily Living, bringing people on who are really preparing or are impacting the world already. So we really see this as being something that's going to spread, like they say, like a wildfire, once people understand how, it's simplistic but so effective. And as people begin to realize that it's not about living a selfish life, whether you're single or married, it's about being selfless, and how this is a selfless act, saying, I'm going to roll this because I want to see what I want to give today. And so many people in relationships that we've seen, a lot of people we've seen get married for the wrong reasons. And it's never about being selfless. It's about gimme. I want this, I want that. So I think we talk about this, you have to be intentional. Mm-hmm. And we talk about, one of our taglines is enriching your marriage one day at a time. And that requires you to be intentional. So again, we think this is a product that is definitely helpful for, I said 0 to 99, but more like maybe 5 to 99. But the point is, it's definitely something I think all people can benefit from, as long as they're open to it. So we're really grateful that you share your products with us. Let me put this on the screen here. So if you want any of these products, right, this is the website. So you'll get the journal. Is it like a package, or do you just order? Does the die come with the book in the journal, or how does it work?
So each item is sold separately,
okay,
or there's a package deal on that website as well.
Okay. That is great. You have any more questions for Mr. Paul? Because we don't want to hold him all night.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, even from the children that you were talking about, like school-age children, I think that's a great place to start as well, because our children yet need to learn how to love each other, because they can be so critical even at a young age. But they learn that criticism from the environment in which they're growing up in, right? And so we're able to, change the environment and make it more conducive for our children to love at an early age. And then as they growing up, and then our society will become better as well, because now they are exercising what true love is. And that's the greatest weapon that humanity have, is love, right? And it really doesn't cost you anything but to demonstrate, a pureness of the heart, because children don't come to this world hating, right? They come basically innocent, and then they come as a blank canvas,
yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And now they're learning different things periodically throughout their lives. And so if they're learning how to love at an early stage, then their life basically will be much better. And then also the community in which they're growing up in will be a better community as well. And then humanity will basically be demonstrating, how God created us and what He created us to do, is to love one another, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that commandment.
Yes.
Love one another.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's great too, even because it crosses all diversity. Because when we
Absolutely.
talk about this a lot, people, if somebody would say, how many races are there? We just say the human race. We know there's different diversities because God is so vast. But this crosses all barriers because, yes, there's one race, the human race, but we all come in different, from different cultural backgrounds. But this affects, if you're a human being and you breathing, it can be impacted by this in a positive manner. So we again are so grateful that you took time to meet with us. You have anything else you want to ask Mr. Paul?
No, I really want to encourage you and really thank you for connecting with us, and the way that we connected, was really great because of the fact that we have all of these access to individuals across the land, across the nation, and we were able to connect with you, and also we have like spirits as well, and your heart is so filled with warmth and and concern and for people, and basically what comes from the heart reaches the heart, and we feel your heart, and we understand what you want to do, and also the mission that you're on, because this is a greater mission. This mission is far greater than you, and so I wish you great success, and I hope that we can still yet stay connected and move forward from here and build, a meaningful relationship, and that's what we're about. We like building relationships. We want to be able to go outside of the walls of the walls of the church, but also being able to connect with authentic people.
And this is truly a testament to the marketplace, that we, because we're believers as well, that you provide services that even crosses those barriers, because sometimes there's a separation between, we say, those who are believers and those who are not, but this can demonstrate how important love is, even if you don't believe in God. I mean, I think it can shift a whole bunch of things, and I won't get into that specifically, but I think it can really shift to say, we're human beings, you're a man, I'm a woman, and we love you, right? Mm-hmm. Because this simply breaks it down to that. So we are so grateful for this opportunity to have time to speak with Mr. Paul Zolman. Mm-hmm. So make sure you go to his website, rolloflove.com, right there on the screen, and support him. Hello. That's part of the other reason why we do podcasts, not just to talk about what we do, but we believe in collaboration and exactly collaborating with people who align with what we believe. And so he definitely does align with that. Love. Listen, marriage, you need some love, okay? Yeah. You need to know how to express that love, give that love, yes.
And if you're not married, you still yet need love, because we were actually born to receive love. We were born to receive companionship as well. And so, learn how to love, learn how to receive love. And then also, Paul, do you have any last remarks that you would like to say to the audience?
Absolutely. Thank you, Daryl and Charlotte, for all that you do. And I know that you are advocates of love, and that I feel that same warmth from you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the time that you've taken today to share this forum, this time with me, and to share with your audience as well. There's one last thing that Daryl, you talked about spreading this around, and it should spread like wildfire. I've kind of coined the phrase "love starter," like a fire starter.
Yes.
That a love starter, and that. People that practice the die and roll the die every day are love starters. Mm-hmm. They don't know what's going to happen that day. All that they know is that they've got the determination to love all day that day.
Yes.
And watch for opportunities to love in that way. They're going to start a fire. They're going to start that fire of love in someone. And when you start the fire of love, it will spread. Same thing with anger, though. If you are angry with someone and you're having a bad day and you pass it on, it's just like the slug in the shoulder.
Yes.
pass it on, and
Right.
pass the love on, and be a love starter.
Amen.
Thank you again for all that you do. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we will definitely be in touch. We appreciate you, and we will definitely continue to share this information with our community at different times. And so we're not going to hold you. We're going to release you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your 116-degree weather. That is like, wow.
He probably in 60-degree weather right now, right? Inside,
yeah.
65 degrees.
We keep about 75. Yeah.
About 75.
Okay.
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 Well, we just say blessings to you. We thank you so much, and we will be talking to you soon, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Paul.
Okay,
All right.
bye-bye.
Have a great day.
So we are, yes. We are
That's
so grateful for the interview with Mr. Paul Zolman. So make sure you check out, first of all, be a love starter. That's a good way to end this episode, right? He talked about being a love language linguist, which was great. And then remember his website, Roll of Love, because we're all about, again, collabing and sharing information that we believe will be valuable. But we want you to also make sure that you comment, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Marriage Enrichment Team Baker. We're there. We've been there, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. And we wanted to bring, just to let you know, bring up some other attention to this, to make sure you check out our previous episodes, because we talk about different things as it relates to marriage and business and doing business together. So make sure you go to, again, our YouTube channel, which is right there, and it's called Business Matters Series. So you'll see a number of things that we've talked about over time, and we hope you will enjoy those and take them to heart, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to add, babe, before we?
No, it's been a great time to share this time with you, and also we had the privilege and the opportunity to connect with Paul Zolman. So it was a great time, and so we hope that you were able to glean something from what was spoken and what was released tonight during this episode, and be able to implement some of the things that he was talking about, just sharing love and sharing your heart. And if you're able to get some of the products that he's offering, take advantage of that as well. So, all
right. So we're going to have more episodes coming forth. Make sure you, even when you comment, like, and subscribe, let us know you'd like to give us a thumbs up. Also, if you have some particular topics that you would like for us to discuss, we will do our best to see who we can find to help us with it, or we may just talk about it ourselves, depending on what it is. But we're going to have, again, some more guests that we've connected with, and I'm so grateful for connecting. Sometimes it's really good to get to know people that you don't know, expand your reach. So we're grateful for that part. So we're going to be, I think that's what we're going to end, right, babe?
That's what we're going to end.
All right. So I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Daryl.
And we are Team Baker. And remember, this is True for Daily Living with Team Baker. And catch us on the other side. You're going to see us on another episode.
Real soon.
All right. Take care.